When Ford launched their F-150 Lightning, they had every intention of making it just as capable as their gas-powered, both in terms of what it's used for work and for families. Well, I just learned of a story recently about a business owner in Atlantic Canada who has two F-150 Lightnings, and he's using it in a way that perhaps Ford didn't even anticipate and really can't be done in a gas F-150. It's a really neat story. I had a chance to talk with him, and I want you to meet this guy, so stick around. His micro-mobility F-150 Lightning story is coming right up. Our unique F-150 Lightning story takes us to beautiful Halifax, Nova Scotia, where since 2019, Max Rastelli has operated HFX e-scooters. The company owns in excess of 100 battery electric scooters, which from spring through fall are deployed throughout central Halifax to be rented by anyone looking for a simple micro-mobility way to get around the city. There's no central pickup or drop-off point, as the scooters are activated through a mobile app whenever an available scooter is located. When a scooter's battery gets below 20%, a GPS signal is activated notifying Rastelli and his team of the need to be recharged. Initially doing so required the entire scooter to be picked up and charged at his central facility. In 2021, he introduced swappable rechargeable batteries for his scooters, which improved downtime, but still required him to take the batteries back to the hub to be recharged. But in October 2022, Rastelli took delivery of a Ford F-150 Lightning, and thanks to the available 9.6 kilowatts of Pro Power onboard exportable power, he soon realized that the Lightning offered him the ability to manage this process in a way that he hadn't been able to before.
Using this truck with all of its onboard power, we can actually be out in the city relocating scooters and swapping batteries in scooters. And when we swap a dead battery with a fresh battery while we're out in the city, we can actually start to charge these scooter batteries on board on the truck while we're out in the city.
I recently had the chance to chat with Max via Zoom to learn more about his rather unique business accelerator strategy. You've got, I'm taking it, you've got a customized bed and maybe the frunk. I mean, how many batteries are you how many are you recharging while you're going? I mean, what's the look like inside?
Yeah, well, now we now have two F-150 Lightnings, but each F-150 Lightning, could easily charge 32 scooter batteries at the same time. And yes, we've set up a system where we have some power bars, and in those, there we connect the bricks or the chargers that will charge the batteries. So each swappable battery has a little charge port, and each battery, while it's being charged, will draw about 2 amps. So, if you do the math, 32 batteries drawing 2 amps each at the same time, that's quite a bit of power that we're drawing. And we're also driving the truck at the same time that all these batteries are charging. And you don't even notice a performance or torque or impact of the truck. So the truck is driving and it behaves in a normal way, which is impressive to begin with. And it's charging all these batteries at the same time. And that is just so impressive.
So how is that impacting the range of the vehicle? Now, it sounds this is you're in a smaller territory, so you probably don't have long distances to drive, but this obviously would have some impact on the overall range. What have you noticed?
Oh, it does. Now, fortunately, most of the driving, if not all the driving that we do, is in the city. But what I found really interesting, and this actually surprised me, is you can go to a screen where you can see where your battery energy went. So if you pull up that screen, when we're charging, a good number of scooter batteries at the same time that we're driving around, it takes more battery energy from the battery pack to charge the scooter batteries than it does to drive the 6,800-pound truck. And that surprised me. I said, wow. And oh, by the way, in our fixed charging station, we're a land base where we pay rent, and the landlord provides so much power for us as a service. We can only charge 22 batteries at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So the F-150 Lightning with its Pro Power on board can actually charge more batteries at the same time than my land base, my fixed charging station, which is like crazy.
What about cost? Because obviously you've got to draw power to charge up the Lightning, you've got to draw power in your office. Have you noticed any differences in your overall cost structure?
I've kind of calculated that it cost me about $6 for every 100 kilometers.
Okay.
And that's both obviously the driving and charging the scooter batteries on board. Another cost that's interesting and may not be obvious is because these F-150 Lightnings have allowed us to grow and expand our fleet, and that's part of our objective anyway. And next year we hope to even double what we're doing this year. That means a lot more batteries, a lot more swappable batteries, a lot more charging is required. We would have to go out and rent, a space somewhere and have power brought in to charge all these extra swappable batteries that we are getting as the business is growing. But to have these mobile charging stations, on board on the F-150 Lightning, we were certainly going to save the rental or lease of that space.
Yeah.
And power, you could say, is a wash, whether, it's power, at a place that you rent, or it's power that you have to charge your battery pack. So that part may be a wash, but it's certainly saving us on having to go out and rent, space just to have the power to charge all of our swappable batteries.
In launching the F-150 Lightning, Ford knew and understood that the ability to use the vehicle as a portable generator of sorts would provide unique opportunities for both businesses and families. But even they were surprised by the innovative approach that Max Rastelli uses with his micro-mobility business.
We heard through the dealer and through our regional sales manager about this story, and we immediately were like, that's awesome. We've talked about how you can use ProPower on board to power a job site or run a movie or have a tailgate. We had not heard about powering an entire business of batteries. Shows a great use case, a business use case for both Lightning and the electric vehicle, but also the ProPower on board and the ability to accelerate his business and double his efficiency. We pride ourselves on knowing our customers incredibly well, especially when it comes to our trucks. And we get out there and learn about them, and this is just another opportunity for us to learn about how customers are using our trucks and their features. And we've already taken it back internally and shared it on both sides of the border, and those become cases that we look at whenever we're looking at the next innovations and what we might do differently in the future.
It almost sounds that this is now, upon realization and utilization, this is almost an intrinsic part of the business model itself, or it might be going forward. The idea of not having to go to a stationary, but having the ability to sort of be mobile charging while in the sort of area that you serve.
Oh, 100%. I agree. And, I had my first F-150 Lightning, and then I also had the F-150 EcoBoost. So I did have two trucks, even at the beginning of this season. And the first F-150 Lightning was such a game changer, and I've used that term earlier, that I said, I need another one. It just seemed wrong to me to... You've got this great story about, micro mobility and, zero emissions and eco-friendly mode of transportation. And yet you have gas-powered vehicles that are going around and touching all the scooters and managing the battery charging and so on. And it just made... And I've heard people in the industry say, well, it's all great and good, but you're still using like gas vehicles to manage your operations. And now at least I can say, well, no, I'm not.
Right. I mean, it's a really cool story, Max, and it's a fun one to learn about. And I do appreciate the opportunity you had to talk to me and let me learn a little bit more about this whole system.
Well, hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for your interest, for sure. Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why I like this story so much is that Max is an innovator and an entrepreneur, and he comes together in a sustainable outcome. I teach as a business professor sustainable business management at a college in Toronto, and I always teach that the move towards sustainability and prosperity is co-aligned. They're not a choice or the other. And this example here of an e-mobility business rooted in sustainability that is enhanced by another zero-emission vehicle like this F-150 Lightning. Man, you probably didn't see that coming originally, but I love the outcome. them, and it's definitely a template and a model that should be replicated for similar types of businesses ongoing. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you, and if you did, like it and share it with others. As to my channel, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so, and if you are, make sure you've rung the bell so that you're notified every time I upload something new like this. That's it for now. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.